Hello and welcome to Leashed Dad's podcast. That is Justin.
Hey, that's Jared.
We are two leashed dads that get together to discuss our everyday lives while changing to our parental responsibilities. And tonight we're gabbing again. I had a bit of a pickle when regarding some of the YouTube content that's been popping up in my feed, and it's bothersome. And I really
YouTube content.
I'll get into it later, but
Oh, okay.
so I wanted to start off with a curious question. You're going back to school? Say what?
Um, yeah. So I'm really heavily leaning towards going back to school here. I recently, for all you folks, well, it's been a few years. I'm actually just looking at my transcripts here, but I graduated college back in 2014.
It's 10 years.
10 years, quite literally. It would be 10 years here in fall. Um, so 2014, I graduated, and now I'm
Oh,
looking at
that's
going back.
right. You went this summer.
I did, yeah,
That's right.
because everybody. I took a summer class in 2013,
Well, then why would it be
and
fall? Didn't you graduate with the rest of us in May of 2014? I'm curious as to why you
yes,
said
I
it would
did.
be fall.
Yes, sorry, it was fall. It was spring of 2014. Sorry. Um, I don't, no, I had to retake a class. That's what it was.
Okay.
I had to retake a class, and I just did it online at home, so it was pretty sure it was online, something like that. My transcript looks really weirdly weird, I guess. But point being is, I got my transcript. It doesn't cost that much. It only costs like $10 if you're really curious about that. Um,
Yeah,
I honestly thought it would have been a little cheaper, like free. I didn't think there was gonna
should
be a
be,
cost.
but not going to get me started on that.
Yeah. Anyways, so got my transcript because I'm really looking and trying to do some research before I dive into going back to school. Um,
Smart.
right. Because I'd rather know what classes I do need. And the nice thing is, I don't necessarily need to have like a bachelor's or anything in like biology as a major to go to dental school. Where that's where people think think that's necessary. It's really not. Um, but I will dive more into that if anything. I'm just again doing some research here where it does say like for dental school curriculum, in the first 2 years of dental school, students spend most of their time studying basic biological sciences and learning structure and function of the body and diseases that can affect it. So you're talking about your anatomy class, your physiology, biochemistry, things like that. And then like third and fourth years, you're studying or doing clinical work. So kind of working on direct patient care, things like that. Kind of like if you were to go for nursing or whatnot. Um, but yeah, I'm really looking at going back and doing this um, because I've really come to liking dentistry itself. Um, as much as I'm the technician with the hands-on in my department and everything, and working with other uh, technicians as well. Um, I do see myself doing more, just like the talking to the patient or being with the patient, and really working with those patients and working on their oral hygiene essentially. Um, have I decided if I want to do orthodontics necessarily? No. That's my big thing too. Is like I want to go into dentistry, but I don't know if I want to necessarily be like an orthodontist anymore. Or maybe there's something else that actually proves to be uh, more insightful to myself. So that being said, that's maybe we'll see where I stand. But I know I got to kind of jump on the gun pretty quick here for applications or whatnot. But I also want to find out, like, talk to school or some sort of like counselor, right? About what I'd have to do first, since I already do have an undergraduate degree. Um, do I just have to take those? special courses or those biological courses, or do I have to kind of start all over from scratch?
God, I hope not.
I really hope not too, because that's gonna. I mean, is it a sacrifice I'm willing to make? Sure, but at the same time, if I can do all my undergraduate stuff that I need, like the anatomy and stuff, online, I'm doing that. And then if I have to do the clinical stuff in person, then I need to find out where I'm also going with that too. So, um, but overall, it'd be something I'm willing to do, because I think I can do more. Maybe I can even do my clinicals at my job.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know. But the sad thing is also, I know that with this, I actually, like, my job will not help pay. The only thing they would help pay
That
for,
blows.
yeah. What really blows is the only thing they will pay for is hygiene. Like a hygienist. Why? I would love to know why they'll help pay for hygienists when, yeah. But there's things like, yeah, I don't want to dive into that part. I've had conversations with my coworkers about everything, and it's just not gonna dive there. Not gonna dive there tonight, guys. Just not worth it. I'm sure you would love to hear it, but maybe I'll keep that off air. So yeah, I mean, my weeks have been pretty good here. I know I came up with just some upcoming plans or potential plans uh, for an episode last week. If you haven't listened to that, it's just kind of me jabbering away at possibilities, or maybe doing like the Hot Ones thing where we do an interview with each other, Jared. One acts as a host and one acts as the interviewee, right? Um, and eat wings together and actually make that a live event. But then also maybe making some other future live events as well. So I don't know. We'll see, right? All plans depending on how things turn out too. Um, but I've got some proud moments here. My boys are finally learning or finally riding bikes. Um,
Sweet.
they're not like, they're still with training wheels, but this is good. Like, I'm proud that they're finally taking on the wanting to ride their bikes, even with its training wheels. So, eventually, I think over the summer, because they've been on it. God, what was it? Did I do it this past weekend or something like that? I got their training wheels on, and they've just been nonstop. They've been nonstop outside riding their bikes, which is great. I just got to remember to reinforce the fact that they need to wear helmets.
Yeah. Yeah.
So safety first, folks. Wearing helmets. I mean, I did a good job at first, and all of a sudden it started sliding. So they're riding bikes without helmets. I think it's also the influence of other children around them, which is unfortunate. Not scolding their like friends or anything like that, but at the same time, you never know when they're gonna have an accident. But they are still in those learning steps there, where they're still trying to get enough momentum to go up a driveway. Like, they can go down it just fine, get in the road just fine, but some of our driveways on our street are are uneven. Or you've got one person's driveway that might have a little incline, but then other people's inclines are a little deeper, like angle wise. It's just crazy. So it makes it difficult for them. So they're working on getting the right momentum, getting enough power to keep going rather than all of a sudden going backwards, which they still do. But yeah, that's my thought.
Parents really can't stress this enough. Please have your kids wear helmets when they're on their bikes. I
Or
know it
doing
may seem
anything
stupid.
that.
Yeah. And it may seem like you can't tell your kid what. I don't know what your reasoning is for not not having your kid wear a helmet. But speaking from a person that's been in a bike accident, that's hit their head square on the concrete with a helmet on, if I didn't have that, I probably wouldn't be sitting here today. So again, they might be the safest rider, the best bike rider in the world. It doesn't matter.
Accidents
But
can accidents can still happen, folks.
yep.
I do have it's actually one of those things where I did have a friend who was an avid biker, um, and he was out. This was years ago, like back when I was like in high school. Um, but he was biking on a road because I wasn't home. Um, for a while I did blame myself because I wasn't home and he wanted to hang out. Um, but since I wasn't home, he went on a bike ride and he like details are a little uh, foggy here, but he had a bike accident, flipped over his bike with I think there was a truck as well involved. No, I know there was a truck involved, but I don't remember how. Like I think the driver had hit like a rock or something like that, which is really weird. Semi truck or whatever type of truck it was hit a rock and hit. My friend got hit and ended up in the hospital, pretty much critical care, and he passed away due to fluid in the lungs. Like he had a punctured lung too.
Dang, dude.
So yeah, and I told, like I said, I blame myself because had I been home, him and I would have been hanging out, probably playing Magic the Gathering or watching or playing Final Fantasy or something. Um, but yeah, so I blame myself for a little bit. And then I talked to somebody that was very good at what she did and was kind of going to school at the time for like psychology and everything. So she helped me through it. So yeah, I mean,
Wow.
it's one of those things. Bike accidents can happen, even if you wear a helmet. And we stress to our eldest son right now that he needs to wear a helmet. He's already been in a few accidents um, without helmets. A little pissed off. Uh, but we've stressed to him numerous times now that he needs to wear a helmet because you never know when that one time it's going to happen that you hit your head.
Right.
So, yeah. Yeah. It's kind of everything there. I'm excited to actually try to start going back to school and seeing what I need to do. A little depressing that I haven't necessarily made the phone calls, I guess, yet because I haven't decided. I just need to talk to like any type of academic advisor that would know like pre-dental or prerequisites for dental. Or maybe I just try to find a school that handles both right away. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I was doing before we started the show too.
Oh,
So nothing too bad, but yeah. I know earlier you said you were kind of getting enraged by alpha men.
alpha males.
Yeah, alpha men, alpha males, same thing.
Yeah.
Little fuckers.
Uh, so before we get into that, I apologize for my absence last week. My wife had a mysterious, very severe illness. It was bad, so I really needed to step away and take some time to take care of her and the kids in the house. So I apologize. My weeks have been insanely busy. Yeah,
Sorry.
um, it's okay. I'm not. There's nothing that can be done to make it better. So, yay. Um, we started a garden. I don't know if I've said that before on the show, but
Ooh,
we're planting our seedlings tomorrow.
that sounds dirty.
We're getting the fence up tomorrow during my lunch, and then Natalie will plant the seeds before she goes to work. Well,
That
plant the
sounds dirty.
seedlings. They're
That sounds so dirty.
sprouted. But no, you know, I've had I've gone, this whole awakening thing, and I've talked about it on the show before, where I'm just going through the spiritual existential crisis over and over again. It's not linear, like each day is the same. I've been so up and down with beliefs, understandings, and faith, and everything else. And I think I've finally come to something where I can really just ground myself in what I think is reality and real, and that is our existence on this planet. with that being said, I'd like to learn and understand more about growing my own food. The shitty food aside in our country, I really just want to know how successful we can be as a family on sustaining our own vegetables. And well, fruit's a bit of a dicey one because of our climate. The only thing we could really probably grow is berries or apples, because obviously oranges, Florida and the hotter climates, and like all that citrus stuff. So we're kind of limited as what we can grow here in Wisconsin, but we'll give it a shot for sure. And I'm really excited about it. Really, really excited about it. Even if it doesn't work out, I'm really excited about our just us making the time to do it, because it's a bonding thing for me and my wife, and it's something that we can connect on. And I've always been, and the kids too, they're really excited about getting to grow their own stuff. Eleanor has been, she got this little cup of dirt with a plant in it from school like on her last week, and
Oh
she's been
yeah,
watching that and stuff. And yeah,
those are always fun little projects too with the kids when they're able to do something like that. Even if it's something they started in school and bring it home. I think Arlo did something like that too last year in kindergarten or whatever. He had like a little cup with soil and seed, and I think his ended up dying or something like that, or he was a little sad because something had happened where he might have accidentally spilled it too, and then tried to rebury it and everything. But yeah, so that's a fun those are fun projects.
yeah,
Sorry.
and and so, but on my personal philosophy aside, work has just been completely insane. Our team has grown to the point where it has never been growing. So hopefully I'll have some relief here and I can start growing in my, if they'll let me grow in my position. Um, or, I really am so happy that you're going back to school. I am so jelly, because that is one thing that I would love to go back and do. And I think you said before we started the show that you're not going to fucking dick around this time.
Yeah.
And that is something that just, holy shit. That is one thing that I step back and said, wow, I should not have been in school for the mindset that I had during that time. Absolutely. I mean, obviously my grades reflected that. I mean, you said you got below a 3.0, and I think,
Yeah.
well, my senior year, which was the year that I actually fell in love, of course, the last year I fell in love with the school and my projects. That's the year I got close to a 4.0. But all before that,
Yeah.
one
All
year,
before
folks
that.
in college cannot turn it around.
I will tell you this much right now. I had a very shitty year. One semester was very shitty for me. It was my
Yep.
all-time low and everything, but that's because uh 3 of my classes, okay? I failed one of my classes and 2 of
Yeesh.
my classes were D's.
Yeesh.
Yeah. So I had like a 1 point something going from that semester. It was
Yeah,
terrible.
I was on academic
And
probation my first like 2 years in college.
yeah, I don't think I was necessarily ever given academic probation, but the fact of the matter being is that that was also the turning point of where I was like, I'm done with the accounting major.
Oh yeah.
Because I think what the real thing that got me though is everything I was going for, and granted, I love math, which is why I kind of went towards the accounting side of things. But all the stuff they were looking at, all these equations and everything, that's actually what really messed me up. I think if I would have gotten like a tutor or some sort of aid to help me out, because my biggest problem I think now, and a little too late to realize this though, I freeze when it comes to those types of equations during exams. Like it's the anxiety,
Yep.
which really sucks because as much as I loved it, it was always an anxiety. Like I could do well during like the homework assignments or whatnot and things like that, but as soon as the test comes and it's time to do equations, it's like You don't even remember the first part of the equation.
Right.
Or having to show your work, you don't remember that shit. So
My problem was lack of confidence. I could never be confident enough in my initial answer, so I kept changing it and it ended up being the wrong fucking answer like all the time.
yeah, I don't think I had that problem. It was more or less using the equation, doing the right steps, and still getting the wrong answer. But eventually, I got to it. I mean, hence why I think that was my like 2012 term, fall of 2012, and then everything else. I like. Sadly, I think if I would have had in 2013, like spring of 2013, I had all A's or I had A's and B's, and there was one C, which brought me down to a 2.9999. So it was 0.001 off of having a 3.0.
Yeah.
And then in my summer, because I took some summer courses, I got B, like high B's on those, and um, in fall of 2013, once we went back, is when I started doing all my marketing courses, and like that was the push. I'm like, okay, I need to start getting my marketing degree, get my marketing degree. So it's like all my marketing classes were right there, and then which I think is also kind of a downfall to myself because I had to do so many things, right? I had I had principles of marketing in the end of the 2013 year, basically, or 2012 2013 year, and then I had all my marketing courses in the fall of 2013,
Okay.
and like one or two and or three other ones in 2013, 2014 spring. So, and then I
Yeah,
retook the
I'd love to go
class
back
in 20.
myself. I don't know what for, like what to what degree, but I would just love to get back to learning again and actually dedicate my time and energy. Because when I was in college, I was so hyper focused on like chicks and parties, and I was not in the right
Until you met your
headspace.
wife.
Yep. Yeah.
I like I said, I wouldn't dick around though because this is like a second opportunity in a way where I don't want to mess it up and then be in a shit ton of debt. Not saying that I messed up by any means with graduating because obviously I graduated. I got my diploma. Where it is to this day, I don't necessarily know, but I graduated. I'm okay with that. Like I said, I got my diploma and everything. I've got my degree. Um, I'm just not utilizing it, which is unfortunate. So to me, that's where the waste comes in. Where now I found, I mean, okay, I shouldn't say it's a waste because you don't necessarily find the thing you're really looking for to do when you're in high school or in college. I was just reading this too. It's like some people know what they want to do right out of high school. Some people find out what they want to do once they get out of college or once they're in college. Some people find out after they've been in the workforce for a couple of years or whatnot.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, once I
People
graduated
change,
college,
dude.
I went in. Yeah, your ideas, your views change.
Right.
Um, and that's the thing that happened to me, right? I worked at McDonald's from when I first turned 14. So after I graduated college and everything and started dating my wife, um, I switched careers. I was like, my parents brought up a very good point. You don't want to necessarily work with your girlfriend and then live with her as well, because you'd be seeing each other every single day,
Yeah, I never had a
like
problem with that.
basically 24 hours,
Yeah.
right? You're at work and then you're at home with each other. You're probably going to get sick and tired of each other at some point. Just, that was their point, and it's a very valid point.
Yeah,
Some
it's for
people could
some. Yeah.
some people could probably make it work, but others it's like, I mean, others you'd rather have your significant other and not, I won't say not see them, but you'll be on opposite shifts, so you don't necessarily have the time to like argue or anything like that. Jesus Christ, my phone is blowing up. But yeah, so I ended up taking another job, kind of running through, I guess, my history here. But took another job in a sales position, which is okay because I thought this sales position was going to be an opening, like a door opening for me to go into marketing. And that was really my big goal at that point. Is okay, if I do sales, following in suit of what one of our teachers told us at one point. 50% of you fuckers, not really, he doesn't say fuckers, but 50% of you will fall into a sales position once you graduate college. Sadly enough, he was right. I was well, I fell into that 50% bucket that went into sales. So, and then I did that for 9 years. So 2015 to 8 years, 2015 to 2023, roughly. All different, all in aspect. It was all inside sales because I wasn't gonna do outside sales, going knocking on doors or going to offices, things like that, trying to do sales pitches. Like, I couldn't afford that.
Yeah.
I needed something I know I was going to have an income in because of family. Having children before wedlock or anything like that, and kind of does do that too, where you want to be a reliable source. So I wanted to make sure I had an income for my children. Um, at that time, $13 an hour is an increase from what I was already making. But at the same time, I still wanted to have an income. And if I got a bonus, great, I got a bonus. So now like I said, if I go back to college, I won't mess around, especially with those online courses. I know online courses can be very easy at some points, or very like you could just do them whenever you need to. Yes, you still have to make sure you get your exams done in a timely manner or whatnot. But at the same time, you can kind of do them at your own pace. You don't have to go to a class, sit down there for 75 minutes, listen to the teacher lecture. You can listen to the lectures on your own time, and whatnot. So that's where I wouldn't mess around, because I know this is going to be a huge factor for me. So I would definitely look at that. And if I need to, even the reason I was grabbing my transcript too is if I do apply, they'll probably want to see a transcript. I would need to be able to
For
provide
sure.
that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but which that might hinder me a little bit, but sometimes they don't. I mean, from what I was reading, yes, they look at that, but they also look at other things too, like your skills and your, experience and whatnot. So I can hopefully use that to my advantage because I have skills in dental now.
Right.
I've got skills elsewhere. I've got the experience in dental. I've been working on patients' teeth for a little bit here. Not to the extent as like a hygienist or anything like that, but I'm cleaning, I'm polishing their teeth, I'm etching their teeth. I've put brackets on patients' teeth, for crying out loud, and I've removed brackets. I know what I'm doing. I just don't. I just need to know the anatomy of the tooth. Really, I need to know what burrs or instruments to really use at certain times, rather than just kind of having it memorized. Why do we use this instrument? Why do I use this burr versus another burr for this part of the procedure? Things like that. I know that'll also come with time when I do get further along in my own training at the office. In a way, like you kind of start picking up as to why this is happening. But at the same time, I will also have more when I go to school, right? It's more or less of if and when. When do I pull the trigger? So I'm slowly gathering those pieces together. But no, we talked a lot about me all of a sudden. But I want to hear about your alpha male situation. That's actually very
All right.
curious. When you brought that up to me, I'm like, oh shit.
So out of for some reason, by the way, YouTube algorithm can f off for God's sakes. From our small channel to my small channel to all the small channels out there who doesn't have a popular subject matter. It's bizarre, it's weird, and I hate it. So for some reason, I was doing the doom scrolling on my YouTube, and a couple, real men influencers decided to pop in my feed, and curiosity killing the cat and all that stuff. And I was like, they had an interesting title and a good look to them, and I was like, oh yeah, what the hell, I'll check it out. And then they started spouting off on how to be a real man and what you should conceal and you should be stoic and you shouldn't really express your feelings. And it's like, and then I kept on, there's a couple other ones that popped up after I watched that because this is how it works. And then I saw this other one just straight out bashing other content out there, and like just started ripping into these non alpha males for being soft and feminine. First of all, fuck off. And second of all, what the hell gives you the right to for you to say what makes a man a man? Seriously, what gives you the right? And then some of these guys are sitting in there, driving around in their Land Rover and BMW and Tesla, and in order to make real money, you got to be a real man. It's like, fuck off, dude. Damn, you just got freaking lucky, for real. Let's just all be straight about this. If you're rich and wealthy, you got lucky,
or they played it right. I mean, I'm not
playing the game right and getting lucky, kind of the same thing.
Yeah, that's true. Is it though? I mean, lucky, like, to me, I guess you could be lucky if you inherited the money, right?
Yeah.
If you inherit some sort of money, that's just luck when your rich family member passed away and you got lucky because they left you in the will or whatnot. Playing the game right, though, you could have invested properly. I mean, that still does have some luck aspect to it, but you also know how you wanted to invest your money. But that doesn't necessarily make you a better man.
No, it doesn't.
That just makes you more invested in the finances.
Right. And we all have our own interests. We all have our own, to each their own. If you get off on driving your Land Rover, you get off on expressing your wealth and making sure your friends know that you got all the best stuff out there. If you get off on that, great. But don't be sitting here downplaying other humans for being in their feelings and and being in their hobbies and being their authentic selves. Don't you dare do that. Because then you're just being a bully. It's an adult bullying situation. You're being a bully and making other people feel bad, which is wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
And not only that, but you're starting a snowball with this shit, and you have their followers that are doing the exact same thing.
They're
500,000 followers, 2 million followers.
Yeah, that's the big problem too. You got YouTube, you got all that shit, right? They can record themselves and hide behind it. They're not out in public. That's, I think,
Right.
Another problem too. Is everybody feels so comfortable being behind a screen that it doesn't matter because they can just turn off the screen whenever they want. Whereas if you're out in public and you say something, well, now people can step up to you, stop you. Right. So the whole bullying thing, like you said there, that's, online bullying is still not acceptable, folks. doesn't matter who you are. And to Jared's point, when you're bashing other content, well, you're just a bully at that point.
Correct.
I mean, what makes them want to do that? What makes them want to bash other people's content? Is it something
to make them feel better about themselves, to have some sort of superiority complex over somebody else, whether that be their followers or themselves. They're putting themselves higher than that other person.
Yep. And then their followers have some sort of influence, or they've been influenced to follow in. I mean, they're obviously their leaders' footsteps, and now they feel empowered to continue bashing or
Right.
exercising their opinions, which to me, I don't think I would call them their opinions, because the fact of the matter is they're just going off of what their leader said. It's not necessarily an origin, or like they didn't originate the opinion. They're just like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I agree. It's like, okay, buddy, you're only saying this because yes, you agree with what your leader said, but you don't actually have this opinion. You feel this way because you feel empowered in some way or another, because you feel that connection with this person that now has
Right.
said something first. You were
Right.
hiding. You may have been hiding the entire time in a closet until somebody else that's a little stronger than you. I'm not trying to bash anybody by any means, but
No,
this is
we're
kind of the
just
truth.
right.
This is kind of a truth where everybody does this. You hide behind something, or you're too timid to come out and do something, make a change. Then somebody else comes out and does it because they have that little more willpower to make that change, and then you just follow in their footsteps.
Right. And
Or shadow.
honestly, I got caught up in it too myself until something snapped. Just like, wait a second, this is not healthy. This is not at all how we're supposed to be running as a society. We're not supposed to be dividing and making a certain group higher than other groups. That's not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to help, encourage, and be compassionate with other people.
We're never
Not the
with
total
that.
opposite. Not be ripping into the lesser privileged or the poorer people who are busting their asses trying to make it work and aren't as lucky. We shouldn't be bashing
Yeah.
those people. We should be helping those people if we can. And also, another thing that I found out too is that they give you tips on how to be successful. Again, we are all different. We all have different lives. Me getting up at 5 o'clock every morning isn't going to do jack shit. In fact, it's going to make my life a living hell. So don't sit there and tell me that I need to wake up every day at a certain time and go to the gym 2 hours every day, because that's not going to work for me.
Right.
I actually had somebody argue with me on Facebook about that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's intriguing. I mean, I sat here, so like we talk about the whole get up and go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, right? I don't do that. I don't get up at 5 o'clock in the morning either. I get up, turn off my alarm a little bit, wait till like 10 to 6, get up, get dressed, get my children up. Okay. Well, and then what do? I drop them off at their respective location, and then I go to work. What have I started doing at work though? When I take my breaks, I'll maybe snack on something, because 15 minutes a break. I get two 15-minute breaks a day. My choosing, right? I could take a half hour and get unpaid, but I'd rather get paid for taking breaks. Just my work mentality. If I had probably sit on my ass for a half hour on the lunch or something like that, nowadays I probably wouldn't want to go back.
Right.
I mean, that's been kind of the way I've been shifting since working from home. It made it very difficult, but at
Yeah.
least at that point I had two 15-minute breaks and a half-hour break.
Right.
Whereas right now I only have two 15-minute breaks or a half-hour break. But anyway, what I will do on my 15-minute break is I'll have my snack. and then I will go into my locker room, like the men's locker room, and I'll do 10 push-ups. So I'll do like 20 push-ups a day while I'm at work. The other day I did 30 crunches on one of my breaks.
Nice.
I'm trying to get back into
Yeah.
an athletic shape, but by no means am I having to do that at 5 o'clock in the morning just to go work out at the gym for 2 hours. I can go do 10 push-ups of my own weight because when you do a push-up, you're pushing up on your weight, right?
Right.
So, I'm essentially doing a little more work. 10 push-up, 20 push-ups a day. Not too bad.
And that's great, and I encourage. Sedentary lifestyle is a killer for most in the long run. And if you can find time in your day to get active, to stand up, walk around, whatever, I highly encourage that. It's just when there are so much other, you couldn't, and it's not that you couldn't afford it, but it's not like you can justify getting yourself to a gym for 2 hours every day or even every other day. We got families. We're trying to live our life. We're not going to be satisfied pumping iron in the gym and on a treadmill or whatever every day or even every other day. I couldn't do that. I've always been one to have a better I've always wanted to have a smarter brain than a stronger body. To be smarter rather than to just look like a fucking man. I don't know. That's always been my opinion. And if that works for you, great. I'm glad. Go for it. Do what makes you happy, whatever. But I'm just saying, don't push that on anybody else because they are not you.
Yeah. I mean, if they're able to make it work for them as well, great. I've got a coworker that gets up in the morning and does the workout. She'll go to either like the Y or Planet Fitness, whatnot. But she still, I mean, she makes it work around her daughter's schedule too.
Yeah.
Like if she doesn't have her daughter, I'm sure she's up at crack of dawn or whatever, going to the gym for an hour or whatnot. She's not there for 2 hours unless she doesn't have to come in early. But it's just one of those things where not everybody, like you said, Jared, can afford to go at 5 o'clock in the morning, work out for 2 hours, and then do whatever. Most of my days during my week my work days require me to be in the office at 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, if I were to get up at 5 o'clock and go work out, I could only work out probably for an hour and a half. But then again, I can't. Then again, I can't because I still have to get my children home or just to their respective locations. And that's just how our schedule is, though. Like my wife, she does the overnight work. She's a nurse and does overnights basically. So she's not home in the morning when I leave. I can't, and she's gonna want to sleep. I'm not gonna stop her from sleeping. I mean, hell, during like now her schedule will change a little bit, and I say change because she'll have one child that's not in, will have one child that's not in school, but yet at the same time that child will still be going to some sort of daycare during the day, where the other three will be in school full time. So they're going to be grandma will drop them off at school, pick them up from school. My wife will be able to sleep a full 8, however many hours she wants to sleep, probably 5 or 6, and be up at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Because she mentioned this to me today too. She was able to actually get a nice amount of sleep, a full rest, rather than having to be up at or wake up at like 8 o'clock or 10 after 8 or something like that, get our son ready, get him to school, go back to sleep for 2 hours or 2.5 hours, wake up, go get him again at 11:14 or whatever. having having those breaks in your sleep is never a good thing either. You need that straight sleep. You can't just be like, oh, gotta get up, go back to sleep. Oh, gotta get up, go back to sleep. You can't do that. It's not healthy for you either.
Yeah.
So
No. That was my soapbox. It really irritates me and gets me enraged when I see people treating people with disrespect out in the open and getting recognition for it. I hate it, and it needs to stop.
and
So
I'd say it's even worse when it's actually behind a screen,
yeah,
um,
that too.
because you feel more protected for the fact that people that are watching your videos and being empowered by videos like that can't be touched. But if they were, I mean, I don't know how much more people would feel empowered if you were doing this in a public setting, giving a speech in a public setting like this. Would you feel more protected knowing that somebody could just riot?
No.
Oh, good. I wouldn't. I would not feel protected at all, knowing that somebody could just come up and wallop me in any minute as I'm giving a speech about, oh, you got to do this to be more manly, or something sensitive like that.
I gotta forward
It
you a video. I gotta find it, but I gotta forward it to you.
Yeah, here honestly, I thought when you brought up YouTube and everything, I thought it was something about your YouTube videos. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna suck. But from what I just saw too, it looks like people were saying put thumbs up for you, so for like some of your motivational videos. So it's pretty good.
Oh, I'm getting good traction on there. There's been a couple dickheads, but I'm getting
Yeah,
some good acknowledgement with that stuff,
yeah,
and a few comments that have been positive and that help people out. You know what? And that's why I'm doing it. Honestly, if I can shed some sort of light in your day, that's my goal.
yeah.
I'm here for you guys.
Right. No, it's a good thing. So, um, do you got anything else you want to talk about?
Not really. I should probably go.
Yeah, it is
It's
what it
going
is.
on the 50-minute marker, so
Yeah. Well, guys, so with that being said here, I hope some of this stuff tonight really helps you out, getting an idea again. Maybe it is time for a career shift. As much as we
yeah.
talked about it, or revisiting the idea of going back to school, it's never too late. Um,
No. God no.
it's never too late to go back to school. I had somebody for the longest time tell me if he could, he would have stayed in school, like never left. Eventually, I'm sure like the school system would have kicked you out, but some people won't have that idea. It's like just keep going to school, keep learning, absorb all that knowledge. It's not for everybody though. Um, if you're ever think, I know we've talked about this multiple times. If you're ever thinking about a career change or anything like that, I'm just going to recommend do some research. Or if you need to go back to school, do some research first, because this is,
Yes.
especially if you're a family man or a family mom, things like that. Um, family
There's a
woman.
lot at risk.
It can certainly be a financial burden. So I think I'm also going to take some steps too. Like I'm going to reach out to an academic advisor of any of my state school right now that would help with like the dentistry side of things. But at the same time, I'm probably going to look at scholarships and try to apply for a boatload of scholarships
Do it.
if I can,
Yeah.
um, because the more financial aid I have, the less burden it is on my life. Um, Granted, you know, once and once I'm successful with my dental side of things, it'll be a little easier financially for myself. Um, is there a financial aspect or accomplishment to this? Yes, I would be more happy with the financial aspect that I would be receiving. But at the same time, I'm going to pursue something that I'm going to enjoy, and that's what this is really going to be. It's not The main thing is not for the finances. The main thing is because I actually do enjoy the dental work that I'm doing,
Right.
and I want
And
to.
you've said that several times.
Yeah,
So
I've said it. I'm going to keep
I
saying
know
it.
I know in this stage of your life, this is exactly where you need to be.
Yeah. And I feel good about it too.
Yes.
I've been happier ever since I started doing this. So, folks, anything if you want, always reach out to us. You know how to hit us up. You got us on YouTube. You've got us. You can always leave us a message on Spotify, Riverside, whatever. You can call Jared. He'll drop his number. I'll drop his number for you. You can call me through Jared because I'm not giving you my phone number, but I'll put his phone number in our section, our ideas. Call him. But anywho, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't actually do that unless you really want to talk to him. I can definitely.
I get enough damn spam messages. Not that you guys are spam, but in general.
We're not calling you spam, but you may get ignored throughout the day, just because he's busy doing his job. But anyways, guys, leashdads14@gmail.com, LEASHEDDADS 1414@gmail.com. You can also hit us up there. See y'all next time. Have a great weekend.